Good love, positive vibrations, and that's what we're all about.
You know, I've heard a lot about what you do. I'd like you to explain to the audience a little about your work as a wellness artist. That's really different. That's something unique. Tell me about it.
Well, it doesn't always start out simple, right? It starts out complicated. I'm from a family of artists, and I went to school for studying painting. I went to Mass Art.
Where are you from?
I grew up in Boston, Massachusetts, and I am from a family of artists. So much of the family, you know, we were competing for crayons and materials, and the kitchen table was a place to share experiments. So as I finished college, I moved to California, and I had started doing some things that were kind of not in my radar until I got to California.
Were your parents artists?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So my father was a painter, and my mother's still alive. She's a poet. George Lockwood and Margot Lockwood. You can Google them both.
Wow.
So they're idea people, and they were sort of unreasonable in a lot of ways because they were always pushing art. They were always taking us to museums, and we did live an alternative bohemian lifestyle.
Oh, I see. I bet that was nice.
Not always, because
Really?
bohemians don't have any classism. So a lot of people would say, you know, so why do you shop at the Goodwill? And I'd say, well, because they have the best clothes and they're one of a kind. So now everybody's at the Goodwill, right?
Everybody,
So, but
yes.
we grew up there, you know, helping my mother with her bookstore. We would learn how to shop for books, and then I became kind of a collector of beautiful things. So that's where, like, my career changed a little bit when I first lived in the Bay Area 25 years ago. So I was
How did it change?
well, I ended up living, you know, this alternative lifestyle even after school and even after being with my family. I started thinking about, I've got to learn how to make things that are like a cottage industry.
I see.
So I was invited to just participate in craft fairs, and I wasn't really used to this because artists usually create alone in a studio. So, you know, I wouldn't be able to do this out in front of people because artists are a little self-conscious sometimes.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Well, we're a mixed bag, so there's all types.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Kind of
Yeah.
introverted and not introverted, kind of in and out.
There are parts of us that we really want to like enter the full self, and it's usually in the studio. So I actually have an interesting opportunity right now to work in wellness, having to do more with food and art. So
How did this come about? I mean, being a painter and then you're going into food
and hat making.
hat making too?
Yes.
Oh, okay. You're just very creative and abstract, right?
Well, it's all the same for me, but from like corporate America standpoint, I might seem like I'm kind of
I
doing
see.
several tracks. But I think that's what makes it rich for me. It keeps me interested in the process.
And it's forever changing, like, you know.
But it's, like I said, it's from
different
other
symptoms.
people's standpoint. It might seem like I'm different, but I'm actually the same artist. So now I'm using food and painting to share with people what the wellness story has to be about.
Okay, explain the food part.
Okay, so I was offered an opportunity to have this space where I could teach, and then I had this commercial kitchen which was attached to it. So I thought, while I've got this kitchen, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm going to, you know, slowly warm the place up.
Right.
So I'm inside of an athletic club, Mariner Square Athletic Club in Alameda, and they like what I'm doing. They can see that I'm working hard at it, and being in a food business, you know, there's a great growing curve, learning curve. And so I think I've mastered how to work hard. So now I'd like to just, you know, work smarter.
So how do you blend the food with the art? But it's wellness, so you must be preparing a certain type of food, right?
Yes.
Okay, tell me about that.
So Cafe Muse really is slow food, which is definitely a movement, and it started in Italy about 30 years ago.
Slow food?
Yes.
Does that mean eating slow or what?
It definitely includes slowing down to figure out what your body really
What
needs.
your body needs, right. Okay.
Yes, and of course chewing carefully.
Chewing your food carefully.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
and just taking time and have a meal with people. It's like much healthier to eat with a friend than it is
by
to eat
yourself.
alone.
I agree.
And also not even to have television or your phone out, you know, to be present with your food. So slowing down is taking on a whole lifestyle thing. So unplugging for those experiences that are very enriching.
I like that. That's very interesting. So now when you leave the food part and you go to the art, bring the art in.
Well, it's going to take you entering the space because I really
Okay.
am having, people come to me and find out, well, I like the food. Let me just see about these paintings. A lot of people, they are afraid to step into a practice like painting because it requires a lot of drawing and understanding of color. But if you step into one of these Thursday night workshops, it's pretty easy because
Is this every Thursday?
Yes,
Oh,
every
okay.
Thursday, and I call them bottoms up because yes, I do pour wine, I do pour beer.
Oh, that sounds good.
I'll make you some tea or coffee or a smoothie.
okay.
I might turn you on to some juicing or some new vitamin mixes that I'm combining, and some aromatherapy. So much of
Wow.
what's happening is I'm getting people to feel comfortable in the space, and then we pick a painting that they want to try to replicate.
Hey Keith, how you doing?
How you doing? How you doing? I'm fine. I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. Welcome.
So tell us a little bit about finances, because finances is very important and most of us know how to spend it, but we don't know how to take care of it. So tell us a little bit about what we need to do to take care of our finances.
Well, as far as starting young, you should start as young as you can and put away as much as you can. So when the times come that you can't deal with it, they call them rocky times, you'll have something put away. So I try to tell all the young folks that's under me, I'm not as young, but I want them to know what they should do at an early age, like 14 if possible, even if babies. So I try to make them have a better life as soon as they can and in a long run type of thing. It's not nothing short. It has to be a long run goal.
Is this something that your parents started with you when you were little?
Well, yes, my mother used to send me to the store because I was the one that was there. My older brother was gone. And one thing, she always stressed that I would bring a receipt back. I never understood why she wanted that receipt. Once I brought that receipt back and I started to see what she was looking for, it gave me a chance to know